Good morning, welcome to St John's Everyday. We're in John chapter 20, verse 23. Jesus has just talked about leaving peace with his disciples, and he breathes on them and fills them with the gift of the Holy Spirit. And he's talked about the mission of what they're meant to do. And then at the end of that, as part of that, he says this: if you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven them. If you retain the sins of any, they are retained. Which, Jesus, what on earth are you talking about? That's a strange thing to say, it's particularly in the context of mission. But there are one or two things that are really important to help us with this. The first of this is that Jesus asks his disciples to proclaim the forgiveness of sins as part of his Holy Spirit empowered work and mission in the world. Jesus came partly to announce the forgiveness of sins. That's partly what he came to do. And he says to his disciples, continue with that. Be empowered by my Spirit to continue with that work. He's talking to the disciples, but actually he's like talking to all the people who will follow him, all the people of God who follow Jesus Christ. It's the work of the whole community. So actually forgiving sins is everybody's task. It's a priestly function. It was something that normally was held by the priests, by the high priest. But actually Jesus says, no, we've all got to take some responsibility for this now. And the final thing to think that's really important, I think, is that John is telling his story in a particular way. And when he's talking about sin, he's meaning it in a way that is he is revealed in the rest of the previous part of the Gospels, and there's key passages where Jesus talks about sin, and I think that's what John has in mind when he's talking about it here. And so he's not talking about a moral or behavioural failing, but it's a theological failing. It's because it's a statement about who God is. To sin is to be blind to the revelation of God in Jesus. It's basically not seeing who Jesus is. That's the sin. You say, when you forgive sins of others, you're going to come across people and they're either going to accept me or not. They're either going to hold on to their sin, or you're going to be able to help them see who Jesus is and then set them free. You can introduce them and say, you don't have to carry the rubbish and the pain and the hurt and in your lives, because sin is a strange thing. It's a strange word in the world. But actually people carry guilt and shame for all kinds of reasons, and that sin weighs them down. And part of our work as Jesus' disciples today is to announce to a world that desperately needs it, you can be forgiven. If you see Jesus for who he truly is, he will lift off you those things that weigh you down. And so that's part of what Jesus is talking about here. We could go on for ages, but we're only meant to do this for a couple of minutes. So be good news today. Announce good news. Announce the forgiveness of sins, because that's our gift to the world. And so I hope that encourages you, and have a great day.